So everything, or I would say almost everything, let me not say everything, almost everything God gives man comes in seed form. It is very usual in our walk with God to have seeds. The picture God will show you will be the picture of the harvest, but the process that leads to that prophecy will start from seed form. Most people do not know how to turn seeds to harvests. I taught a bit on that Sunday. I will not go back into there, but most people do not know. What you see today called Koinonia Global, it came as a seed. Are we together? What you do with those days, those periods, those moments. A woman today who is a mother and a grandmother was once a baby. Am I right on that? She had her own mother, had her own grandmother. When you ask someone who became wealthy by dignity, I was listening to someone, very respectable person in this nation, who had been greatly helped and blessed by God, and I was just listening to him speak on his journey. I've listened to him many times, and sometimes I just refresh my mind hearing him speak, and you know, helping to appreciate his little days. Next to nothing. You could see vision. He foresaw the days that he's in now, but he did not have anything to show. But what he did have was a recognition that if it is with God, there is always something in your life. It's just that sometimes it is too small. You have to see it with the mind and the eyes of the spirit to know that it is seed containing the potential for greatness. If you had seen me say 15, 20 years ago, you would never believe that I would be this man of God. Are we together? By every standard, knowledge, understanding, approach to life, whatever it is, people grow, wisdom grows, knowledge grows, greatness grows. Are we together now? Praise the name of the Lord. So everything God gives man, or almost everything God gives man, comes in seed form. Listen, when you know this, you will not feel angry and disappointed when you ask God for things, because many times when you ask God for a bumper harvest, you know what God will give you? God will first give you a great farmland, a bag of seeds, wisdom and energy to sow, and he will say, here is your harvest. And if you don't know this about God, you will become angry and offended, because you will watch someone who sowed his seeds and now is reaping his harvest, and you'll be like, God, I want that harvest. And God says, that's exactly what I gave you. What I'm giving you that you are angry about is what I gave that gentleman. The difference between you and him is that this person recognized that contained within these seeds are the answers to the prayer. Are we together? God, give me an anointing, and he gives you the grace to pray. And he said, but I asked for power. He said, that's exactly what I gave you. He said, but what will I do with the grace to pray? I'm not asking you for grace to pray. I need power now to use for a meeting next week. And God says it doesn't work that way. I can help you and take away shame at the meeting next week. Go by faith. I'll be there with you. But to grow properly, I have granted you your harvest. Father, I want dominion, and he grants you grace to not sleep and snore your way through the night, and says, wake up and study the Bible. He's giving you the seed. Most people do not know how God answers prayers. So when they ask God for a harvest, your vision is seeing a great house, but the seed given to you will be a book of 500 naira, and God will say, I answered your prayer. The next time you say, Father, I've been telling you about this 5-bedroom flat. God will say, I gave you since January. And you say, God, but don't lie to me. I thought a destiny helper would just build the house and give me. God will say, that's exactly what I give you. What did you give me? He says, check your table. That dusty book right there is the seed that will produce that harvest. Listen carefully. I will tell you that many of you, God has answered your prayer. He's not about to answer. It's just that you don't know how answers come, and so you've thrown away the answers. We are going to be looking at the story of the wife of the sons of the prophet. Her answer was in her house. I can imagine the woman sitting in the morning and saying, look at my husband. You prophesied and died and left me with trouble. They're about to take my children, and the oil was knocking. Madam, look back. I am here. I can bail you out. the law of increase. Almost everything God will give you will come in a form that does not look like what you are praying for, but contain within it. Are we together? Yes. Oh God, give me wisdom. Then God gives you a good friend. And you are saying, but where is the wisdom? He embodied wisdom in one good friend and brought the person to you. You can push the friend away in search for wisdom, and heaven will be crying and say, you just lost wisdom of 10 years by driving Abraham away. Lot, I answered your prayer for increase by bringing Abraham. You pushed Abraham and went to Sodom and Gomorrah. Now your life begins to go down. Who is learning? Most believers do not have the discernment to understand how greatness and how increase occurs. I've seen a number of our people involved in poultry and involved in farming. We have a number of people here who are actively involved, and sometimes you'll be amazed to see when the little chicks hatch, you are watching the mothers that will have their own eggs too. Am I right on that? But at that point, they're old chicks. They don't matter. You ignore those tiny chicks and they die, and you don't have tomorrow again. There are many families who say, Lord, wipe our tears, and the answer is in the pregnancy of the woman. As that child arrives, God says, whatever you do with that child is your 30 years at a risk, or your 30 years as a blessing. And the woman throws away the child, the husband throws away the child. What are they looking for? Money, favor from government, politicians, and they throw the child that was sent as an answer. And guess what? Another person begins to train the child in the way of the Chaldeans, a way that is inconsistent with the blueprint of the covenant. And then that child who is supposed to be a blessing, by age 12 becomes an armed robber. And they go back and say, God, this was not my bargain. He said, well, you wasted your seeds. You asked me for greatness. I answered you in a child. Spiritual things never come in the form that looks like them when they arrive. You will need the eye of the Spirit to see. Are we together now? How will the Magi come to bow before a baby? They were not looking at a baby. We cried and cried and cried in our sin and ignorance. We could not help ourselves. And God said, you know what? The Messiah is coming. And all the people kept looking at the signs. They were waiting for a mighty man to come, to open the heavens and arrive with chariots. And while they were looking in Bethlehem of Judea, the answer had come in a little child. And while the whole world was hoping for a warrior who will defeat Caesar and Herod, only the Magi saw the star. They said, something has been answered upon the earth. Let's go and find out. Only God knows how the angels rejoiced when you were born. Only God knows what answer arrived on your birthday, that we are calling Joseph, that we are calling Mary. We call you Mary, God calls you an answer. We call you Mary, God calls you a prophecy. Are we together now? That there was a major problem with consecration, a major problem with power, a major problem with wisdom, with technological advancement. And while men prayed, God answered it in a man. He came to his own, and his own received him not, because they were discerning in the flesh. Let me tell you this. I'm digressing for a while. If many families understand this, they will stop the prayer they are praying, because the prayers were answered the day certain children were born. That prayer you see, God help us, take our family out of shame. God said, I have heard it. I have heard it. He answered it by bringing certain people. But because we do not have the eyes to see, we are still praying that prayer till today. For someone, you said, Father, reveal the next level of my life. And God manipulated your NYSC to make sure you came to Abuja. You walked it and walked it and walked it. You still arrived here. You know why? Because that is the answer to the prayer. There is something you will only find in the place of divine placement. Your uncle promised you that you will get a job in some oil company, and God brought you here. And now you are listening. The way of the Spirit is very strange. You have to be a spiritual man to understand how God unfolds the destinies of men. Are we together? For someone, the day you began to pray and say, God, fan this apostolic fire, he answered you by giving you the desire to be an usher. And you say, God, but I mean signs and wonders. He said, that's right. Apply to the ushering department. Because from the ushering department, one day you will become the prayer secretary. And from the prayer secretary, you will be in a vantage position that only that department would have allowed you to be seen. Trust the wisdom of God. The law of increase. Most believers are holding the seeds that are the answers to their prayers, but they do not understand how spiritual things work. There are many jars with oil in our homes while we are in debt, while we are crying, asking God to bring us increase. We're on a serious journey tonight. Let's see how far God will help us. Almost everything comes in seed form. When I learned this about God and the economy of heaven, every time I'm praying or I sense in my spirit that it's a new season. And by the way, I have taught you in this house. Let me teach it for the sake of those who have not known. There are 3 or 4 things that characterize a new season. Every time a new season is about to open, take note of these 4 things. That means when you are coming to the end of a prophetic season and you are being open to a new prophetic season, take note of the following. Number 1, an unusual urge to pray. An unusual urge to pray. I'm not talking of praying in group. Something happens to you and you always want to be alone. It's not loneliness. It's not, you are not frustrated. It's that there is a business only you and God can do that cannot be done in the corporate gathering. Take note of that. Some of you, I'm just describing your season right now because you are coming to the end of a season. You are among people, but whenever you are among people, something in you wants to be alone. Is because you are ending a prophetic season. It's a sign your spirit man has picked the signal, but it's just that your mind is unfruitful. You wake up in the night and you can't sleep again. Even if it's to go and ease yourself, that sleep is gone. It's not a medical condition. I'm telling you, I know there are medical conditions, but this one is God announcing to you, be discerning. You are about to enter a kairos season of your life. An unusual urge to pray. Number 2, an unusual urge for sacrificial giving. No matter how greedy you are, if you are entering a prophetic season, God will plant an unusual urge. Nothing becomes too much to give. It's almost like you're a madman. Sometimes you will have to give in silence, because if people understand the sacrifice you have made, they will insult you. I'm interpreting seasons for someone. Number 3, unusual demonic attacks on you. Unusual attacks. Everybody, your husband suddenly starts creating problems that should not be there. Your wife, everything begins to annoy them or annoy you. Children giving you problems. Your workplace, everyone who was at peace with you, all of a sudden there is a demonic engineering. You come in the morning, the boss is giving you problem. Don't fight the boss. It's a season. It's an alert system in the spirit. I'm telling you. When seasons change, don't be asleep. You must understand how prophetic seasons unfold. This is true for individuals. It's true for organizations. Once you begin to see widespread aggression, realize it's a signal in the spirit. I'm coming to an end of a season. Another season. A loving husband and a loving wife. What is suddenly happening that is affecting you? This attitude, if you just fight it with brain work, you would have missed the season. It's because Satan knows that you are about to enter a season that brings growth. He will attack, he will fight, he will want you to use offense so you can abort what God is doing. The moment you abort the season, the persecution will stop, the attacks will stop. Hallelujah. That's why, like I always teach, when you get to these seasons, God distracts you with praise. because he knows that the human spirit cannot wait indefinitely. So he will look for something, he would distract you with praise. This one is prophetic praise.